Hey everyone, and welcome to the Week 9 review, Week 10 preview. I'm joined today by Joel Gibson. As always, hi Joel. Rough week with COVID this week, that's for sure.
Folks, what's up, fellas? Yeah, we were taking out designations all over the fucking place. It was a crazy fucking week.
Yeah, you and I both had 3 Spurs that sat the whole week and are still down tomorrow. So, should be a good time. Way to start the week strong.
Holiday still down for me. Smart still down for me. I had Rozier miss a game. Sabonis miss a game. Tice got injured. And then to top it off, old Delon Wright, who's been producing at a top 60 value, strained his groin and is out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's not what you wanted. At least you don't have Drummond just sitting on your IR just waiting to be traded. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't...
Man, at least you're able to stick him on the IR.
Well, yeah, that's true. As soon as he was designated out, I put him on that IR quick, just in case. But anyway, we'll get right into it. The first matchup is my matchup versus Cody. Just eked out a win this week. I was extremely nervous. I was playing 5 full spots down. That's not including my IR. Cody, I will say, I respect. He has said all year he's not going to cycle. He didn't cycle against me, and quite frankly, if he did, he would have won. So I'm not going to bash too hard on Cody this week. Thank you for being a man of your word, my friend. I moved to 8-1. He moves to 2-7. Next matchup is another squeaker. Joel Gibson beats CJ in the Homestead Boy battle, former Homestead Boy. Now, it came down to steals. Joel, I was very nervous for you this week. I thought CJ might pull it out on you.
Nervous about steals and rebounds going into today. It was way closer than it should have been. I have CJ's number 1 pick. So I want CJ to lose. This would have been a double negative for me. And not the kind of double negative equaling a positive, just 2 negatives. Just getting double fucked. But we pulled it out. We're solid as fuck. And we'll be a lot better when we're healthy. Tell you what.
I think a lot of teams can say that right now. We'll be a lot better when we're healthy. If it ever happens, we will be a lot better. It's going to be great. Yeah, good thing you avoided that one. You moved to 6-3. CJ moves to 1-8. Yeah, being one of 2 wins for CJ for you would have been a rough go. That'd have been a full year. Shout out to CJ for making it close. I thought he might have had you there. Next matchup is Matt at Eric. Eric beats Matt here. Matt suffering from injury as well. Like I said, I think that's a narrative for everybody. Eric now has the tiebreaker with Matt, and they're both sitting at 7-8 right now. That win by Eric could be very big as far as seeding goes, and trying to avoid whoever ends up in that 1 spot is going to be crucial there at the end. Not a lot on that one. Eric's been putting up some good lines though. I mean, you can't fault him. His team's looking pretty solid. His bottom's a little weak, but his team's actually playing from except for Russell, who's on his IR. I know he's a little banged up, but I think that Eric's being healthy has been pretty big for him, honestly.
Led the league in points this week.
Yeah, you're just really scoring the ball. Kudos to him. Make for a tough matchup when I have to play him, which I think is in 2 weeks. I'm not sure. Next matchup is Doug beating Steven. Now, Doug had 4 triple-doubles this week. That's a big number in the triple-double spot, so I will give Doug his due here. I am still bummed that Steven's not setting lineups. He sat like 8 players this week. It looked like he was going to start setting his lineups Monday and Tuesday. I looked, they were set. And then the rest of the week, he didn't set them. So apparently it's unpredictable as to whether or not he's going to set the lineups. I'm going to make the assumption that he's not going to do it moving forward. But special shout out to Doug. that's my How Did Doug Do This Week segment. Yeah, he moves to 6-3. Steven to 1-8. Eric is actually at 4-5, and Matt is also at 4-5. I forgot to say their records. Next matchup was a nail biter. Adam at Neiman. This was extremely close. I think Lowry sitting today really messed with Adam. Neiman pulls out another one at home. If Adam had won that matchup, it would have sent a lot of things spinning as far as rankings and how things are going. But as we sit, Adam sits at 6-3. Neiman at 8-1. Neiman and Adam both making moves to try to make their teams better. It's clear they both think they're in it. Last matchup is Simmons demolishing Kyle. What a dumpster fire this season has been for Kyle. I can't believe it. He started the season with KD, Curry, Clay, and Kyrie. And he ends up trading Kyrie, gets Beal, and then trades him away. Kyle, keep getting those second and fourth round picks, baby. Just keep racking them in. I love having swap rights for second and fourth round. I made the mention to you, Joel Gibson, that we always joke about the swap rights and everything. But for those two picks, I have a lot of picks to pick from. Simmons moves to 6-3. Kyle to 2-7. With these wins, congratulations to myself and Neiman. We clinch playoff spots, even if we lost all 5 games coming up. Cody and Kyle, we both have the tiebreakers against them, so it will be impossible for them to get in, or at least for them to eliminate us, we'll say. 5 weeks to go. We're in the playoffs with 5 weeks to go. That's pretty early. That's pretty early. I can't remember. I know you've done it a couple times where you've been and won, and you were right after halfway or right after the interdivisional round, something like that. So definitely good seasons from Neiman and I. And with that being said, we'll get right into the rankings. I'm number 1 still. I have the tiebreaker with Neiman. I have Neiman at number 2 here. He is 8-1 as well. The next 3 through 6 are 6-3. Now, because it's so close, I want to make this clear as well. The winner of the East is the actual number 2 seed. So Neiman right now is the 3 seed. Winner of the East gets the 2 spot. So remember that. I have these rankings in order of how good I think the teams are based on record, not necessarily based on the division. With that being said, the 4 teams that are involved in this are Doug, Simmons, Joel, and Adam. I do have the tiebreakers here. I looked it up for everybody. Doug has the tiebreaker over Simmons and Joel. Simmons has the tiebreaker over Joel and Adam. Joel has a tiebreaker over Adam. And Adam has a tiebreaker over Doug. So for that very reason, Doug and Simmons are technically the top 2 spots here. They have more tiebreakers. I have Doug as the number 3. And I have Simmons with the number 4. Simmons is still banged up, but he does have an additional tiebreaker. Next, I have Joel because he has that tiebreaker over Adam. Joel's at the 5 spot. And Adam, who was the 3 spot last week, falls all the way down to 6. Had he won this week over Neiman, we could have been talking about putting him in that 2 spot outright. Because he would have that tiebreaker with Neiman. So quite a big fall for Adam. 7 and 8, as I alluded to earlier, Eric and Matt. Eric has the tiebreaker over Matt, so 7-8. 9 through 12, Cody, Kyle, CJ, Steven. Those are likely going to be the bottom 4. Both Matt and Eric have a 2-game lead over Cody and Kyle. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but it's looking like the top 8 is starting to sure out. At least we just don't know where they're going to fall in the top 8. Those 2 are also 2 games behind that cluster at 6-3. So they're a little isolated, if you will. Next week, we'll get right into it. It's CJ at Modest. CJ traded and, in my opinion, really got great value for Davis. He got Curry and Westbrook in a trade for Davis. Really interesting for CJ, who tried to trade Davis for just Miles Turner earlier in the season, ends up turning it into Steph and Westbrook. So it's important to know that. It's also important to note that because Doug, without AD right now, could really be hurting given how close it is in the East. So I just wanted to bring up that little thing. Either way, I don't think that CJ is going to have enough to beat me. I should have my Spurs back this week, not Monday. And I also lose Brogdon Monday as well because they're playing the Spurs. But as long as I can get through Monday, we'll be okay. I'm picking myself.
You as well. But the Spurs only have 2 games this week, I believe.
Excellent.
So
excellent.
It's not going to be a huge help.
Excellent. I really like going 2 weeks in a row. Looks like I'll just have to rely on a man by the name of James Harden. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he's the #1 fantasy player. Well, you could make the argument Curry. We can argue that a little bit, but Harden's coming on strong. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from him. And it's without KD, at least for a few more games.
So, I'm picking you pretty easily.
All right, next matchup, and in my opinion, is the matchup of the week. It's Adam at Doug. So it's important to note here that Adam already beat Doug once. Doug is number 3 in the rankings and at the top of the East right now, in my estimation. But Adam does have the tiebreaker. So if I'm Doug, this is a must-win week for me if I have any shot at that 2 seed. If he loses twice to Adam, he would basically need to go perfect those last 4 weeks and hope that Adam falters as well. Adam gave Neiman a run for his money here, and we're not sure. This one is so tough for me to pick. I'm going to pick Doug at home. I think Doug gets at least 1 triple-double. Jimmy Butler's been playing out of his mind. Yeah, I'm going to go with Doug at home.
The lineups right now, Lowry sat today, and it didn't sound like he was going to play. That's pretty big. And Barnes sat today, and he's been pretty good for Adam. Doug is sitting, or doesn't have Schroeder or Graham, neither of which I think are big pieces. Right. Yeah, I'm going to pick Doug.
Yep. I think Doug ties up the series here and solidifies that lead in the East, at least for this week. Next matchup is Matt at Simmons. Big matchup for Simmons here. He's still injured. PG-13's now back for Matt, and Matt's got to find a way to get out of that 8th spot. He wants no part of the 1, whether it's me, Neiman, any of those tops. Well, I wouldn't want any part of the 2, but at least you'll have a better shot. Matt cycling here. I think Matt could get a triple-double from Simmons. I'm not sure, from Ben Simmons, to clarify. And I'm not sure that Simmons has a triple-double threat necessarily. I'm going to go with Matt. I think it's going to be a cycle week, and I think that Simmons having those spots that are still injured is going to hurt him this week. He played Kyle last week, so that big win 9-2. His line wasn't overly impressive. I think this is a week that Matt could win if he wants it.
I'm going to pick Simmons because although his team may not have been particularly impressive this week, but he's got really good players that I think just kind of underperformed. Not having Wood and Nurkic is pretty big, but guys like Zion and Bridges and Embiid have been unbelievable for him. And if Hayward gets back to where he was, he could be a problem.
Yeah, I do think that Philly has a back-to-back this week, just as a note. I know that Embiid has been playing. I think he's played in back-to-back this year, but it could be up for a rest game. Them losing to Toronto today kind of lowers that possibility. I thought that if they won against Toronto today, you would have definitely seen an Embiid sit game, but I'm not sure. Paul George looks good being back as long as he doesn't sit. So we'll see how that one goes. Like I said, it could be a cycle battle as far as that one goes. It's going to be close. No getting around that. Next matchup is you at Cody. Although you're going to be injured, I can tell you that winning is possible against Cody. He hasn't been cycling, so I'm going to pick you in this situation.
Me too. There's a lot of guys on his team that aren't worth a whole lot right now. That's no discredit to Cody. He's obviously just, going for next year. So I'm picking me. Going to keep this win streak alive.
All right. Next matchup is Kyle at Eric. I think that Eric's going to win this matchup at home. He's been putting up impressive records. Kyle has impressive stats. Kyle has Davis, who's out, we know. I don't think that there's much Kyle can do here. He's still trying to sell the bottom of his lineup or anybody that'll listen. So I'm going to pick Eric in this one.
As well, and, Kyle can keep his bottom players.
I agree. There's no need to be giving up value to help Kyle out. Unless you want to give him a second or a fourth round pick. Feel free. Give it to him. I won't stop you. Last matchup is Neiman at Steven. Again, I'm going to assume that Steven's not going to set his lineups. And even if he did, I don't think that it matters anyway. I'm going to pick Neiman here in an easy win.
Gonna crush him.
Yep. Just as a reminder, March 1st is the trade deadline. We've got this whole week, so 8 days, right? Monday at noon, so 8 days left in the trade deadline. I witnessed this week. Was this the week that had 7 trades? My days are even messed up right now. I've never seen that many trades in one day, even before the trade deadline. We had that crazy keeper lock deadline trade day where I think we had 5 or 6, but we ended up with 7, maybe even 8. I can't remember if there was a late one. I know there was one the very next morning. One of the most active days that I can remember as far as trading goes. And it was really just a domino effect. I noticed you were a little quiet during those trades, Joel Gibson.
Still looking for the right trade for me. I did make one trade myself. I really enjoy bringing on Terry Rozier.
Mm-hmm.
He turned out to be better than Kemba Walker. Who would have guessed? Kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean... I just look at the players that I've traded, Blake, Kemba, all those older veterans that are sitting back to back. Thank goodness I got rid of them and got some sort of value for them because I would just be hurting really bad. And we can't even forget that I lost Fultz this year. I have been through the ringer, okay? What I am doing this season is impressive. I don't care if I don't win. What I have done, my first pick at 74, what I have done this year is an impressive way to follow up a championship season. I don't care who says anything that goes against that.
There's one thing that you said there. It was the first thing you said. You don't care if you don't win. And that's really a good thing because I don't predict you winning this year.
Oh, okay. Do we have a bold prediction? Do you think you're going to win this year, Joel Gibson?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm team bet on myself.
All right. Well, I just want to remind you what's on the line. We'll put in the note just so we know. If I pull off this season, I'll have 3 titles. You'll have 4. But remind me, Joel Gibson, was I in it the first year you won a title?
Not have been. You may not have been.
No, I was not. So if I get this 3rd title... with me in the league, we will be tied 3-3. Is that not the case?
As it would be, but the thing is you're not going to tie it up.
Okay. All right. I just want to make that abundantly clear. There's 5 weeks left. Who knows what's going to happen? But I just want that abundantly made clear that I'm going to tie you with championships that I could have won, okay?
If I win, I'm going to have doubled you.
All right, well, okay. That is the worst case scenario. Okay, that's the
Deflating.
worst case scenario. All right. With that being said, I don't think there's anything else. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Outside of that, I'm excited this week. I think there's going to be some trades. There's still a couple teams that I think might start looking towards next year. I'm not 100% sure. So it's just going to be about who has the most appetizing pieces. Outside of that, hit me up if you're looking for a second or fourth pick with swap rights. Everyone, keep that in mind. You'll have the best in those second and fourth rounds. That's important for everyone to know.
Mind, I have CJ's number 1 pick. It's likely the first pick in the draft. It is very available. Come get it. I'll tell you what I want off your team, but it's very available.
Very available. Well, we will look forward to that. That's it. We'll see you guys next week. Good luck this week. Later.